Okay, so with what this has given you is basically our true nature is underneath all of this. The mud, the gunk, the filth, everything we have reached out for in this world, and also the backstories. So the me energy, what it does is it gathers baggage of backstories. And so it's carting all of this along with it. It's carrying all of this along throughout its human experience. And that's what I mean when I say that aspects don't know what to do with it. They carry it and they assume it's who they are. So another reason for why they carry these things. And so when you want to walk this path, it is more so, and this is the harsher truth, walking up a steep hill. And you're being asked to let go of these things. So yes, it's the inward work, as in dissolve on the spot and be in silence, be in stillness, and clear it up in that way. But it's also the people, places, and things. What this likes to say, that's people, places, and things. So a harsher truth is, yes, you may have to let go of aspects, and a harsher truth of that, even more, is you probably will. The reason for this is because no, you can't take everyone with you, and there are scriptures for this situation that say if you love anyone else besides himself, you're not worthy of him. Okay? If you have had encounters with him, supernatural encounters, you will realize that following his guidance is paramount, because the unseen realities that don't get spoken of, they show you things that validate his presence, his existence. Along with his voice is your absolute dependence on this relationship. Okay? You have to go through some strange encounters, some strange things, in order for you to depend on him, and for him to pull you out by keeping your faith, by being firm in your faith, by having those two vital things. And what are they? Exactly. So, you absolutely, as a follower, you have to take upon these harsher truths and incorporate it. That's why this says it. That's why this is going to be straightforward, not sugar-coated. So when you walk this path, you are going to be dissolving and letting go of people, places, and things as well. And I want to bring you back to the dissolving, the inward work on the spot. Okay, because coming to see our true nature first is like seeking ye first the kingdom. So it's saying, okay, well, let's clear this up first. Let's let go of these things. Let's look at what's going on here, so that we don't carry the baggage. Okay, so we're not trying to walk uphill when we know we shouldn't, and we get convicted by that, and then we start to turn away from him. We don't want that. We don't want you to be led astray. Okay? We don't want you to feel as if you've been done wrong by him, which many aspects do feel. And they don't know what to do with those emotions, with those feelings, with what's the church hurt. And so, exactly, alright? The reversal is always to get you to come back. Come back to Him, come back to the body, the heart, the ground, readdress here, So, your true nature is purity. And it was like this from the beginning. We didn't have sin. We didn't have all of what sin stemmed into. Okay, all of that was introduced because of, So, the reversal, the Edenic reversal, the renewal, is for us to see that our true nature is behind all of this, for a clear heart lens, out here with the cleaning up, and then it's seeing from the eyes, which then would come out the mouth. Does that make sense? So, when you clear this up, your seeing is more clear from here, and then your speech is more clear with what's being said. Okay, so as situation to scripture, from out the mouth defileth a man. So as you can see, which is evident, there are a lot of aspects, particularly online, because they can hide behind a screen, they can hide behind these things. Having unclean things and anything, lower emotions, and what are the lower emotions? That's the pride, jealousy, envy, all of that. Greed, lust, all of these lower emotions are what makes it toxic. So what I mean by unclean is that toxic, the toxicity that we see in the world, correct? We see aspects generating this from inside of themselves and then operating out of it. So they generate it, and this is all because they weren't taught this from a young age. So they generate it, and it mixes with that resistance, aka conviction, and the distorted heart posture or distorted lens from here. Okay, not knowing that you can clean this up, not knowing it was a thing to, and then their seeing and their speech reflects that. So there's a whole bunch of entanglements going on with humanity, and they like to make it seem like everything's fine and dandy when it's not. Okay. We have all fallen short of the glory of God. I think we can all understand that we've made those mistakes, and we've made all of that. And for us to reverse and come back to a purity and an innocence, it's because it's of God. It's of God to come back and reverse and do that inward work, and people don't want to. They don't want to understand that this is of God. You can't escape this. And that's what we call spiritual bypassing. So, this clear heart lens is like a backdrop, like also known as the black nothingness. It's basically just a backdrop for clearing things up, and you're seeing clearly, and humanity requires coming to see the root cause in order to reverse for the younger gens as well. Okay, this root cause is coming from these lower emotions. Okay, and our evolution, which I said that we have the potential for, is to realize that there is pride and there is also humility. And we can absolutely, tip the scales from pride to humility. Does everyone want to do that? Want to engage in that? It looks like a lot of the population don't. But it's really just having an understanding of this, and maybe even someone having that sound doctrine, someone approaching you in a certain way about it. And there aren't too many people, aspects, who speak on this specifically. Okay? But this is something that is highly evident. It's happening everywhere. I mean, you can hear it out of people's mouths, can't you? You can also even feel their energies. So sometimes there's so much of that baggage, there's so much of that toxicity that they seem like they're swimming in. And they haven't been taught from a young age of how to get out of it. And they're just drowning in it. Perhaps they're just drowning in it. And it's that misery loves company. And when someone else does try to get out of this is where you get competition, comparison, and perhaps secret in its pursuit of saying, if you can't have it, if they can't have it, why can you? Why should you have that? Why should you be able to, such and such? So it's that crab in the bucket mentality as well. So humanity has to understand that its evolution out together as a collective is to address this root cause. It is to address this. It is to soften the heart more and more, over and over. It's what he looks at the most, and it's what's going to get the younger gens in a pickle. Because if you're not seeing from a clear heart lens, and you're not being fed sound doctrine, you're lacking from a lack of knowledge. You're perishing from a lack of knowledge. Isn't that scripture? The situation would be the younger gens, which this has a concern for. Okay. Not only are they, because of the screens, the digital social media, and I think that's a big thing, but they're not able to have those social skills. They're not able to, and they're not able to understand why they might not be able to feel so tired to get on the bus for school, all these sorts of things. And you're gonna wonder, well, why? Because you don't know. So we have to come back to this. We have to realize what's really going on here. And you've got this aspect here to address it for its original design, which is what God intended. The purity, the innocence, and the clarity, the focus, to be able to navigate this human experience, but to also appreciate what I like to call Eden to earth. Okay, making that connection. Those being able to be out in nature and appreciate it. Coming back to respecting the planet by putting litter in the bin. Having morals and ethics and values and standards. If we don't address that and the root cause, they're not going to have that. So you might get stuck in those lower emotions. You might get stuck in the me energy. If you don't know, you get tossed around. Harsher truth, you get tossed around here on a planet that is just not really supporting you, not really, it's dysfunctional. Someone has to come in and tell you how it is, and yeah, it's definitely of concern. So this is why we also have a savior, because that stagnation and that stuckness, does he really want you in that? Not really. He wants you to be able to come out of it. You're not bound by lower emotions. You're not bound by these systems and these structures in place in reality. When you go to work and you hate your job and you just... No, you're not bound by it. Part of the entanglements and coming back to reversing all of this is to see the systems and the structures, and when you clear this up, you can see clearly. You can wake up to this, and we need more of us to wake up to this. We need more of us to understand this, okay? That it doesn't have to be this way. We have been given something so beautiful as, I don't want to say escape, but just as a way out of the mess, which is evident, and it would build up upon itself like the saturation and consumerism and the misinformation. And with the younger gens, it's also the remakes and the tributes and the covers. We don't need more of that. For the younger gens, we need them to be able to explore their own creativity. So not imitate others. Explore and express their creativity, which leads to innovation, which leads to evolution. Yeah? So we as a species, we have to get it together. No more of this, everything is fine and dandy, because it will present itself to us, and everyone will be looking around at each other. It's already happening. A lot of aspects are feeling like as if this world is crazy. Okay. Not only do we need to have aspects who are calm in the field, but who have that clarity that is not religious based, but is about relationship.